This is a demo on how you can pull together a view of all of the information of a particular subject using various means of displaying that data. In this case, we are going to focus on the Omics Demo. First, you must log in to Cortellis Labs, click on the menu icon, and select Cortellis APIs. Scroll down to the Omics API icon, and then in the gray box, select the Demos shortcut and click the Omics link. First, you need to log in to the Omics API demo website. This takes you to a search web page where you just need to enter a simple query. In this case, ERBB2. Once this loads, you can see this returned over 1,700 results and contains various subsets of data. This data comes from passing the Get Omics Results operation of the Omics API. On the screen, you can see that we included data from both the Omics API on the left and data from the Targets API and the Drug Design API on the right-hand side. This just shows how you can combine data from more than one API into one interface. Across the top, you can see various terms such as processes, compounds, networks, etc., that you can use to filter the data down further. For instance, we will click on proteins, which shows 131 results. Down the left, you can now see the results have narrowed down. If you click on one of these items, you can display more detailed information on that particular protein. This shows you data on that protein for synonyms, description, organisms, molecular weight, relations, processes, molecular functions, localizations, tissues, and references. The data also includes many hyperlinks that allow you to drill down into the data even further. Going back to the ERBB2 research results, we will now filter on the pathway maps, which shows 28 items. From here, we can go directly into one of the maps to see more information. On this page, you can access the description of the pathway map, the objects contained within it, the references used to build that map, and the network objects contained within it. And finally, the interactions occurring between two network objects in the pathway map itself. Clicking on any of the hyperlinks will take you to more detailed information, such as choosing one of the object list items or one of the network objects. For instance, you can also click on an interaction. Let's choose interaction 2613, which shows the interaction between ERBB4, the source of the interaction, and GRB7, the destination of the interaction. This is a manually curated binding interaction having an activation effect. Going back to the pathway map page, at the top is a link to View Map, which takes you to the interactive pathway itself. The main portion of the page is the interactive map with a list of objects on the right-hand side. As you can see in the map, there are an assortment of items located within the map. You can look at this legend to see the associated objects and their descriptions. The objects are grouped in sections that range from enzymes to generic classes to mechanisms. Back on our interactive map, we will look at the binding interaction we looked at previously between ERBB4, a receptor with enzyme activity, and GRB7, a generic binding protein. In the map, we will click the ERBB4 object to expand the information on it on the right-hand side list of objects, and then click the first entry to display all of the related information, including the description, type, conditions, drug mechanisms of action, experimental pharmacology, maps, interactions, links to external databanks such as SwissProt, Protein Databank, Protein Information Source, an online Mendelian inheritance in man. After that, you have the references and patents. The data on this page comes from the Target API. This is the same data that we can find on the original search results page on the right-hand side. This just shows how you can have more than one API interacting together in one interface. As previously mentioned, you can also connect to the drugs data from the Drug Design API. For instance, if you click on one of the listed drugs, you will see some related information such as the structure, the molecular mechanisms, the development status, as well as a link to the drug report on Cortellis. The Omics API has all the core information on genes, proteins, pathways, networks, tissues, etc. from Metacore. Using the Omics API, you can combine pathway data with target drug information from the Drug Design API. You can view competitive intensity on a pathway with the Opportunity Finder API. And you can combine the Omics API with the Omics Analytics API for experimental results processing. As you've seen, you can combine data from multiple Cortellis APIs to provide an overview of the results with the ability to access the details of each concept all within one interface.